off the speaker. I don't know if you can hear the German music playing really softly in this place behind me, but I'm trying to be quiet for these guys here. Thank you so much. They talk about 4th of July stuff going on, and it makes me think of last year how Susan was saying, well, I'm not going to be celebrating, I'm going to be protesting, and I ended up writing an editorial being, well, there's this yay country feeling that we all have in the American way, and that we're still then fighting for our rights, and so what exactly am I celebrating? And so I anticipated, just because I'm traveling, I'm not going to be seeing fireworks or anything this year, but because we had the reunion, this 100-year thing, they had fireworks on the 1st of July for the Kuypers, and I was like, wow, it's kind of nice to have fireworks at this time of year, and it doesn't happen to be related to the 4th of July. It was just a funny little aside. And one other thing I learned is that in Chicago, nobody snaps their fingers as applause. No one, because I'm at the feature and nobody thought of doing it. I mean, it was just you applaud at the end of things, and it's such a thing that you pick up in other places, and Chicagoans, I've never seen them do it, because I just was seeing it when I was going through his stuff today. But anyway, now I'm going to shut up about that and read poems from the second book from July that was released early because I've been out of town, and that was from Down in the Dirt magazine. It's volume 209. It's called Lonely Visitor. Lonely Visitor. I see, you know, and this is how I look for titles I find accepted writing. I'm like, do I have a good image that will go with that to pull it off? So Lonely Visitor is the July cover. I think it's double plus awesome, and because I'm off from doing the things about women issues, I'm going to do all sciencey ones in this one. So I'm going to do, actually, we're going to go back and forth between them. This will be not only, this first one, not only from Lonely Visitor, but also from the periodic table of poetry. This is going to be Einsteinium. They're going to be all elements that are really close to each other. This is Einsteinium. Einstein understood that everything was relative. Why did he have to worry about brushing his hair or changing out of his pajamas when he was busy grappling with the foundations of physics? And once he fathomed the relationship between matter and energy, once he understood the interconnectivity between matter and energy, he suddenly understood, after this Jewish physicist left his home in Germany, that Hitler and the Third Reich could be working on an atomic bomb, converting so little matter into so much devastating energy. At this time, he understood the need for Roosevelt to create this weapon so the Germans wouldn't destroy us. The gravity of his discovery in the hands of evil men weighed him down. And even months before he died, Einstein wrote that although the devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki seemed unfathomably horrific, and he regretted writing that letter to Roosevelt, his justification was the threat of Germany. When he wrote that letter, he still had to appeal to Roosevelt that yes, to save us from Germany, this weapon needed to be created. Knowing about his torment in making this decision to ask for the creation of the atomic bomb makes it ironically beautiful that after scientists discovered an element after the first explosions of the hydrogen bomb, they named the element Einsteinium after the physicist. How ironically beautiful. Einsteinium is a silvery white radioactive synthetic element with a high fission rate, like the atomic bombs Einstein first knew of when fearing his homeland enemy. But because of the short half-life of all isotopes of Einsteinium, all primordial Einsteinium has decayed by now, and beyond its nuclear creation, there was almost no use for any isotope of Einsteinium outside of basic scientific research, which makes me think of the life of Albert Einstein, I suppose. For although Einstein worked at odd jobs for years until he was able to to work as a patent examiner, his mind was only good at one thing, doing not so basic scientific research, solving scientific fundamental puzzles. If only he had the time to study the puzzle long enough. That was Einsteinium, and the next one is going to be a periodic table that is Twitter length. which means that, and the image is in here as well, but I'll try to show the image on the screen as well. Not only is it in Lonely Visitor, the new issue of Down in the Dirt, but it's also in Twitterverse Periodic Table Poetry, and it's for Einsteinium, and it is different scheme from what you just heard. This is from Einsteinium, Flying Through Mushroom Clouds. From 1952 U.S. H-bomb tests at the Marshall Islands, fighter pilots flew F-84 Thunderjets into mushroom clouds to get atoms from nuclear explosions. Glenn Seaborg at Berkeley Labs found 200 atoms of what would be element 99. Once declassified, they later named it Einsteinium. And so you have to, let's see if I can show this off for you guys. It's a dark place. Einsteinium, flying, oh, there we go. Flying through mushroom clouds. You got the plane, you got the mushroom clouds, and you can't even see me. But there's your element there for that one. Einsteinium, flying through mushroom clouds. But I'm going to go back to one other periodic table poem that would be not only in Down in the Dirt, Lonely Visitor, but also in the periodic table of poetry. And I think I did, that was 99. I think this is 100. I don't have it written down, but Fermium is the last one I'm going to share with you guys. This is Fermium. When the bulldog ant of Australia is cut in half, the halves see each other as enemies. The head attempts to devour the tail, and the tail, in an effort to defend itself, battles for up to 30 minutes to sting the head. This is the battle, and it happens everywhere in the world because life is always that battle between the two halves of the whole. Because everything contains that twin, one part good and one part you've construed into something so horribly wrong, and you want to tear it apart, that other half. You despise everything about it, everything that somehow is a part of you. So you, in life, always possess that battle. This even applies in the molecular level. Consider hydrogen. In our water, we drink it and we bathe in it, and atomically we're 67% hydrogen. But on November 1st, 1952, Ivy Mike was the code name for the first successful test of the hydrogen bomb. It's funny how we can take something so needed for our life and, like our sun, turn it into something to destroy everything we know. Because, as I said, one side gives life, the other kills. And thanks to Ivy Mike and that hydrogen bomb, two elements were discovered. One of them named after the physicist Enrico Fermi. You see, Fermi worked on Chicago Pile 1, the first nuclear reactor. Fermi worked in a space under Chicago University's then unused football stadium bleachers. That's because the school had not used the football stadium for 3 years because the school thought that sports were a distraction from academics. Fermi, the father of the atomic bomb, also worked on the Manhattan Project, and Fermilab outside of Chicago is named after him. And here's the kick. The hydrogen device that produced Fermium was designed by Richard Garwin, Enrico Fermi's student. So, for all that Enrico Fermi had done, it seems fitting that Fermium is the heaviest element formed by the nuclear bombardment of lighter elements, like hydrogen. And this highly radioactive element was initially kept a secret under the Cold War. But it's amazing that what we can discover while taking something we so need for life and turning it into an instrument of death. Because fermium was classified in the Cold War, Swiss scientists bombarding oxygen, discovering an isotope of it, wanted to name it Centurium to honor element 100. Good thing Fermi's nuclear work got declassified so they could honor Enrico Fermi with fermium. But wait, fermium is bad. It's radioactive. It can't be any good. There can't be any good applications for it. Well, consider the two sides of any twin. Fermium is the only element that can use its alpha particles in radiotherapy for cancer. And yes, it's radioactive, but its short half-life means it decays quickly because, as I said, it's amazing how two sides can be both bad and also so good. Fermium, Ta-da! No, it's just a little picture for me of you guys. But you got a science lesson, so you didn't hear anything from women. Maybe I'll do women stuff in the final round for you guys. But I thought I'd get that one out of the way. And then I'm going to put on my headphones, and I will try not to talk in the second round for you guys because I'm going to give it over to John F. McMullen, and then it will go to Lorna, Tim, Susan, and Doc. So, John, if you are ready, take it away. The stage is yours.